Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. So, um, I am here on location, live and direct from the illustrious Larry Landers Event Center, owned by my friend, my brother, my Baba Ifa, Chief Olaifa, Lanrio Kimuyiwa. Beautiful, beautiful setup here. Ideal for celebrating, partying, and in my case, thinking deeply. And today, as I reflect on my recent elevation and installation as the Alatunche Onifa of Okeona, I'm thinking about the joy and the wonder, and just the happiness of the occasion, of course. But then I'm also always looking at failure. I'm always examining failure. I'm always examining why things don't come to fruition. As thankful as I am for everything coming to fruition in this recent tour, there's a process that we practice within the school that's called the rope of continuity. And the rope of continuity is a way of thinking, let's say a mental exercise, that requires you to enjoy the heights of enjoyment. When your life is going very well and things are coming together exactly the way you want, you're succeeding, you remain present, but at the same time, you recall what it's like to be at the bottom. You recall what it's like to be in total isolation. You revisit in your mind those times and those instances wherein you were at the bottom, you were the outcast, you were persona non grata, as they would have liked to say. And what that does is it helps level out your thinking. So when things are great, you don't get carried away. When things are terrible, you don't get carried away, right? And you level out your experience and always understand that life ebbs and flows. And so as it ebbs and flows, you remain, however, the same entity. I am the same person when I'm at the heights as I am at the lows. It's just a question of what am I choosing to focus on? How am I choosing to be? So, that being said, I'm experiencing a great high. And it's also a habit of mine to consider the great lows. And so that's what I mean by contemplating failure, contemplating, all the different ways that things don't pan out and don't manifest the way that I want them to. And so with that in mind, I think about the success of my philosophy, which, if you have followed my work over the years, is live the medicine, right? Live the medicine. What does live the medicine mean? Living the medicine means activating the healing properties within your own destiny. That you were born into the world whole and complete and with the full capabilities to maintain and expand your wholeness under all circumstances and conditions. You're like a tree. You're like a plant. Tupac has this great line where in one of his poems he talks about a rose that grows up through the concrete. If a rose comes up through the cracks, if a tree grows up out of a stone itself with no soil and very little water, it's an indicator of life's potential to sustain itself, to draw from whatever meager resources are in the environment, enough to be born, to grow, to flourish, to thrive. That's what Live the Medicine is all about. You can do it. That's what brought you here. You wouldn't be here in this world if you didn't have that capacity. So when I say live the medicine, live the medicine, live the medicine, I'm urging you to remember the thing that brought you into existence, so that that thing can continue to invigorate you, right? I'm trying to encourage you to recognize that within yourself you have the active ingredients for growth, for expansion, for transformation. So with the idea that you were born to live the medicine, I also understand that you've got to go inward. You have to practice self-mastery. And self-mastery is what's going to continuously send you into the depths of your core, the raw material that makes you who you are and what you are, and not be discouraged by what you don't see, or what people aren't giving you, or what the world isn't giving you in your physical environment, in your social environment, right? So in spite of the limitations, if you live the medicine, I believe that you will be a rose in the concrete at very worst. You can make it happen. That's what I want you to know and understand. All right? So, self-mastery is the key to living the medicine. And that's the basis of my philosophy. That's the basis of my life's work. That's the basis of my own lived experience from beginning to where I am today. And so when I think about why don't people adopt this philosophy, or why do people why are people drawn to this philosophy, but then they stop midway? They take a few steps, they get some results, and then something happens and they unravel, they become unhinged, they drop out. Why? This is where my mind has been over the last couple of days. And so when I think about self-mastery and I study the principles and best practices of self-mastery, I'm reminded of a few reasons why people and organizations and whole countries, ethnic groups, traditions, right, will reject self-mastery. One reason that people resist or reject or pull out of the process of self-mastery is fear. People are afraid that as they master themselves, they're going to they're going to destroy their environment, their social environment. They're going to outgrow their friends, they're going to outgrow their families, they're going to become a weirdo. They're going to have to stand out, and they're afraid that they don't have all the things in place to make it possible for them to master themselves and really flourish and shine without becoming isolated. It's a real fear. And so you have to take that into account. That as you practice self-mastery, you've got to be able to also create an environment that's going to be conducive to that self-mastery. You have to create an environment where you're going to be able to retain some meaningful relationships, right? A lot of times this is where you see, for example, a guy who comes from the hood, who gets a bunch of money, and then in spite of having it all at his fingertips, having the freedom to be anywhere that he could be, guy ends up shooting dice at the liquor store. Guy ends up at the strip club and you know what I mean? It's like you had no business there. But he didn't have the social network and the systems in place to be able to make all boats rise in his environment. So hey, maybe the guy gets lonely. The person gets longs for things that are familiar, so they end up going back to some place that they don't belong. blah. So the fear is real is what I'm trying to say. The fear is real. Another reason why people resist self-mastery is that they get, cynical. People are cynical. You become cynical. You become jaded by people not meeting your expectations. You get jaded by your environment not meeting your expectations. You see certain ideals. You think that the elders are supposed to behave in a certain way. You think that a devotee is supposed to behave in a certain way. You think that a priest or a priestess is supposed to behave in a certain way. And when they don't do this, your ideals don't become real, then you can become jaded. You can become cynical. So you say, well, forget it. There's no reason for me to be trying to master myself when all the people who are supposed to be representing what I want to become or what I think the pinnacle is, if they're not doing it, then it can't be done. Forget it. I might as well just back out. It's another reason why people opt out of self-mastery. A third reason why people opt out of self-mastery is, I would say a third reason is that it doesn't translate to something like dollars. It doesn't translate to money, right? There isn't a measurable one-to-one relationship between mastering yourself and getting paid. There's not a measurable one-to-one relationship between mastering yourself and acquiring some kind of superpowers. There isn't a one-to-one relationship between self-mastery and even being popular and well-loved and well-respected right off the bat. So people are not necessarily incentivized to practice self-mastery and make the sacrifices necessary to enjoy and demonstrate self-mastery, because it's not measurable like that in a material, concrete sort of a way. So these are the things that I've noticed and I've experienced. And for all of the things that I'm describing right now, there are people in my mind, there are experiences in my mind, there are places that I've been and things that I've done that I can see from the place that I am right now, from the perch that I'm sitting upon right now. In retrospect, I can look out and I can see, oh, this is why people, this person, that group of people who are falling into this category, why they either just rejected the possibility or opted out from once they got started. And so with that in mind, I want to encourage you to examine and explore and consider these options, these reasons, these things that I've described that prevent people from practicing self-mastery. And also juxtapose that against why it's worth it. Why it's worth it. To the idea that destiny is the ultimate fulfillment, that destiny is the epitome of empowerment, that realizing your destiny is total freedom. That is the objective of our tradition, and it's a real thing. As you get closer and closer, as you get deeper and deeper into that experience, the cynicism, the fear, all of the other obstacles and things that will make you apprehensive they 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 become they become totally insignificant. They become totally insignificant. What I am experiencing today, where I am in this moment within my own life, within my own experience, is the highest vindication that I could have ever prayed for. I can see how Olodumare has been answering my prayers, answering my prayers, answering my prayers. How Ifa has been guiding me, how the divinities have been protecting me, empowering me, enriching me, shielding me, bringing all of the things into my life that I truly have needed, step by step by step by step by step. It lets me know that I'm exactly where I need to be. There's no need to be apprehensive or fearful. So, what is next? It all depends upon the decisions that I make and the clarity of my vision going forward. My own willingness to continue to envision, to see, to accept the vision that brought me to the world, to accept the vision that the divinity has implanted in my own spiritual DNA and my consciousness. And so I want to urge you, and more than urge you, I want to affirm for you that you have all the reasons in the world to pursue, to accept, to embrace the journey of self-mastery. It is worth all the sacrifice. It is worth all the effort. It's worth every ounce of investment that you will have to make, that you will be required to make, and you will be required to make significant and substantial sacrifice, right? And the last thing I want to say, because I have a delicious lunch here waiting for me, and I don't want to keep it waiting. One of the most significant things that you will have to reconcile is just fear. It's just anxiety, and that is sort of under the surface all the time, but crops up in a very significant way when you are disappointed, when things don't come together. And the function of disappointment, the effect, let me not say the function, the effect of disappointment is that it does promote this that the thinking that I described in the beginning around the rope of continuity. We have an ideal. This thing that brought us into the world is an ideal. And the challenge for you is to, retain that ideal in a childlike manner. Retain that ideal, right? But don't let your ideal become an expectation. Don't allow your ideal to become an expectation. So you can see all the blessing in people. You can see all the potential in people. You can see the greatness in people. You can recognize it, and you love people for what they can become. You love you for what you can become. Don't let that, however, become an expectation. Keep it as an ideal, because that is exactly what it is. It's a utopia, right? The ideas of a utopia. Let it continue to compel you. But you manage your expectations based on the reality of what a person is. Human beings are frail. Human beings are flawed. Human beings are limited. You are frail. You are flawed. You are limited. You have an ideal of who you are and what you're destined to become. Hold that ideal true. Hold it close to you. Don't relinquish it for anything. But don't let it become an expectation that you think that, oh, yeah, it has to be this way right now. Because, and if it isn't, then, there's nothing. None of this is real. Okay? If you can manage that, then you will continue to be inspired and compelled to rise every single day, no matter what, and pursue that vision, to pursue that dream, and do everything you can to use your natural gifts and talents to manifest your destiny and be of higher service to yourself and to those that you're destined to serve. This is my message to the leaders today. I'm looking for people who are ready, willing, and able to use your natural gifts and talents to create a positive influence in the world. If you're one of those people, I want you to find out how Obafemi Origunwa, the Alatunse Onifa of Okeona, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria, can help you take your life and your practice to the next level. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com. Let's start working to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odabo.